Welcome back to Got Kids. I'm your host, Maureen Nunn, and I'm here with a very special, really special guest, Jody Pastel, who is the principal of Cornerstone Elementary School. And we were talking about connections, how you make connections, not only with the students, the parents, and the faculty, but also the connections in really forming the whole child. And as you were saying, it's so much part of a process. It doesn't just happen that we're going to say this, and you need to know this, and your choice is this, and let's go from there. You also mentioned that in helping the students, because your oldest student is in the 5th grade, who would be 11 years old, in developing leadership qualities. I would love to go to a meeting with you about how you prepare this student to be a leader. What are some of the conversational techniques that you use, and what are some of the themes that you use in that, in developing leadership?
Gee, that's a great question. First of all, you're welcome anytime.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
I can tell you when all of those leadership meetings are planned, and you come by any spare moment you have. But it's really, again, it's not an easy answer, but part of it is we lead by example. So when I have returning high school students coming on campus, and they might be leading the math club, or we have help with art, or help with PE, or help with anything that might be a special need at the school by a former student or by an older student.
What a great idea.
The younger children really get a sense of, God, I could do that, and boy, how did they get to do that? So it's kind of a springboard for a great discussion.
That would be, so you're actually having the student who graduated come back and be a role model for that student. That is, and then forming that connection as well. That is really great. Let's shift to your own parenting. With 4 children, now 23, 20, tell me how old they are.
23, 27, 29, and 30.
Wow, so you got married when you were 3. Okay.
Oh.
So tell me, with four kids, what did you find out that really worked, and then when it didn't work, how would you correct it?
Let me begin by telling you, I wish I knew then everything I know now, because there is a little bit with experience as you get a little wiser and older, and as you're going through being a parent with young children, there's not a recipe book, and there's not one way to do things. You have to work with your husband and be as consistent as you can, and be on the same page with what's important to your family, your family values, and how you want to spend time together, and how you want to discipline. And if children learn that this is the way it is in a certain household, then they like that structure, and they know that they can't wiggle out of something because it's just an expectation. Not to say it's always a perfect picture, because it isn't. As kids enter adolescence, that is a time when they're trying to be very, very independent, and they want to figure out who they are, what they're all about. So to have students, or children, I should say, children that just, act perfectly, and they do everything you want them to do, it's unrealistic. We've had many ups and downs in the Pastel household.
You have?
But yes,
Oh.
but I would be lying to you if I told you anything different. But that makes us all stronger. We revisit some of those times that were difficult, and we learn to laugh. We learn to talk about what we do differently next time, and it is a learning experience. And the best time to talk about experiences and to reflect is around the dinner table. So we try to at least have dinner together, and sometimes dinner's pretty late, but as my children that are coming and going right now in their own lives, it's okay as long as we have some time. But we just talk about their perspective. I asked the 30-year-old the other day, I said, what was it about your childhood that you really remember, in thinking about what I might say today? And he said it was the family time spent together. The laughing, the being out on Lake Mead, or Lake Havasu, whatever lake it was, and learning how to water ski or making the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the boat. He really remembered that as family time. And a wise friend told me recently that if we don't do anything else as parents, what we really need to do is make individual time for each of our children. And it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day where you actually take that time to sit and talk to your child and ask them, you know, what did they learn in art today, and have them actually show you a technique they learned. No, don't, instead of saying, you know, how was your day? When you say how was your day, you're going to get a fine, and then the discussion has ended. But if you try to really engage in a conversation, I think that really does help with the communication. And sometimes kids won't want to talk. And so the response might be, all right, I trust that maybe tomorrow you'll have something you want to talk to me about. So you leave that door open. Or if it's a younger child, you know, we have 10 minutes. Would you like to play a couple of rounds of cribbage, or a couple of hands of canasta, or any game that you like as a family? But that is something I have tried to do consistently with my kids, even as they've gotten older. Make that individual time. To be honest with you, with some of the children that love to shop, it's a real easy fix, because we just go shop and mom pays for it, you know.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I have 4 teenage daughters at the same time, and I'm not a shopper, but just the fact that they loved it so much is too bad that I don't like it. I was going to go and learned a lot.
You can send them to my house, because I do love to shop.
For sure. I'm going to call them right now. Well, this is really very, very educational because of the fact of the family time spent, and then also really, truly in listening to your child. And I like what you said so much, that maybe you don't want to talk to me today, but I trust that, how did that go again? I trust that maybe tomorrow.
I trust that maybe tomorrow you'll have something you want to talk about or discuss.
I also like the fact that you have 2 daughters and 2 sons.
That's correct.
I like the fact that you also said that you, when your daughters, when all your kids were little, that you taught them how to cook. So this is beneficial too for the evening meal or whatever meal you're going to get together for, that they can actually all help, that they know what to do, and that they can also participate in that way as well.
They are very independent, and they are self-sufficient, and actually they are all 4 better cooks than I am.
And you love to shop.
Mr. Pastel is also a better cook than I am.
Well,
so.
speaking of Mr. Pastel, you've been married a few years, a few years, and I like also the fact that you said that it's really important for the husband and wife to be on the same page, that it's very important for them to agree, because how many times would the child come to the mom knowing that she's going to say something different than the dad would say, and then there's a conflict because they're blurring basically the communication.
It's probably important to say that we didn't always agree on everything. I mean, that's just life. Nobody always agrees. But we were able to say to the children, if we knew that we were going down that road of maybe not being on the same page, that we would say, I need to talk to your dad, I need to talk to your mom, and we'll get back to you. That's okay to say. We don't always have to have immediate answers, immediate responses. But a child learns that there is a team here and a sense of communication between the adults in the house also.